This is Counterpoint, and I'm Tanya Granick-Allen. It's time for our Current Issues panel, a regular feature here on the show. And today we'll be discussing the impact C-18 is having on Canadians, with Meta now blocking online news. We'll talk about the attempted coup by the Wagner mercenary group in Russia and Putin's response to that, the devastating end of the Titan explorers, and the RCMP opening an investigation into it. And Loblaw stores now instituting receipt checks at exit. Is that fair to the consumer? Lots to discuss, and join me now to help unpack it all is Russ Kuykendal, consultant, and David Clement, North American Affairs Manager at Consumer Choice Center. Thank you both for joining me, gentlemen. It's a busy day, so let's jump right in. Of course, many Canadians are concerned about what their online news reading habits will look like now that C-18 has passed the Senate. Why don't you start us off on this one, Russ? So the C-18's passed. It's now going to become law.
Yes, it was given royal assent on Thursday, I believe, after the amendments going back and forth between the Senate and the House of Commons were dealt with. And actually, my understanding is that Meta and others have been in touch with the government of Canada for the last several months, or at least several weeks, negotiating as to how that's actually going to work, how the Online News Act, or C-18, is going to work. And so it remains to be seen. I've noticed in certain of my streaming news facilities on Amazon, actually, that one or two of them have been missing for the last few days.
Oh, wow. So already the impacts are being felt.
I think so. I haven't double checked with Amazon, but they're not there.
My goodness. David, just to refresh, I should remember that some of our viewers may not remember, even though we've done many shows on C-18. Why is C-18 a concern?
So it's a concern. I mean, from what's happened now, Facebook has started to block news sharing on its platform, and obviously millions of Canadians use Facebook to share links of what they're reading, whether it be major newspapers or otherwise. And so what's happened is that is now gone, or will be gone. And I think this may be one of the biggest unforced errors we've seen out of Ottawa and from major publishers in a long time, because it was publishers who lobbied for this bill, basically saying that Facebook was stealing content from them, and that every time someone clicked on a Facebook link to, let's say, a major newspaper, Facebook should have to pay. They had that relationship backwards because, Tanya, if you post something that you've written, let's say for a major newspaper, you have a lot of social media followers. People are going to click on that link. What have you done? You've sent that newspaper free leads and free opportunities to sign up subscribers. And so here we have is bad policy ending in a rather predictable way, which is Canadian online consumers of the news are worse off.
So Russ, I mean, and those very interesting things that you've shared there, David. Russ, do you think the government, I mean, they've had ample time to amend and change and listen to concerns of both producers and content readers. Do you feel that the government will make some amendments? When we have Facebook and Instagram and apparently Google who are saying, and you've suggested Amazon, that are now no longer going to allow the carriage of Canadian news, do you feel that the government may actually change their mind and claw some of these issues back?
Well, we'll see. Governments are sensitive as to whether or not they're going to get elected or not, and specifically their caucuses are sensitive to it. It's not just publishers that have been pressing the government for this. It's certain public affairs issue campaigners, shall we say, who have been pressing the government to block certain news providers in Canada, be they from the United States or from here in Canada on domestic territory. So I would say in the short term, probably not, because there were several amendments that were proposed by the Senate when the bill went over to the Senate, and then when it was sent back from the Senate to the House of Commons to deal with those amendments, the House of Commons made some more amendments as well. So I suspect that the bill, as given royal assent last Thursday, is the bill, is the act, is the statute for the foreseeable future, unless certain caucus members of the Liberal caucus start getting sensitive about their re-election chances.
Okay, David, 15 seconds, final comment.
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be a caucus push from Liberals prior to the next election on this, although I think there should be.
Okay, well, we're going to pick this up right when we return from this commercial break. Stick around.